welcome back to Couples Consoling Plays Pokemon Blue Nuzlocke Corona Quarantine Edition.
I'm Allie.
And I am still upset that Washington will not be on our team for a little while. Washington got poisoned in the line of duty last time. While Washington contracted syphilis.
Did Washington actually have syphilis or no?
I forget, that's something to look up. Mm-hmm. But that means that we are left with a team that is underpowered and underleveled, and we've also got this patch of grass where we haven't caught anything yet. So, I figure since last episode we spent the entire game focusing on the game itself, this episode we're going to catch something new, and we're going to try to level up the mons we have, get them fighting fit, get them some new moves, maybe get some evolutions in here.
The fact that the sprites don't match the Pokemon is throwing me off so hard.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, man. And, well, you gotta remember them by their nicknames now.
Mm-hmm.
But, what do you say?
The best girl up front?
Yeah, and we try to catch whatever's around here.
Sure.
Okay. Da-ba-bum.
Alright, come on.
Yep.
After all those random encounters in Mount Moon, this is
yeah, I feel like the caves have way more encounters than the grass. And it's a Sandshrew!
Yay!
Oh, yay! I like Sandshrew.
I know.
I like Sandshrew quite a bit.
Sandshrews great. That sprite looks nothing like Sandshrew, though.
Yeah, no, it looks, yeah.
Tackle?
Tackle? Mm-hmm. Okay. Ben from BDCB Comics just commented that apparently, like, Tackle does 35 damage and Scratch does 40. That goes against what I've looked up, but I need to double check it again.
Tackle.
Okay.
And then we'll start using Pokeballs.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. But I'm excited to get a Sandshrew.
Yeah.
It will be nice. All right.
Yay! So what shall we name our Sandshrew?
Yes, what shall we name our Sandshrew?
So our last Sandshrew was Kagarina after taming of the Sandshrew.
Yes. This time around, I do have a name in mind. May I?
Okay.
Okay. Alphabet. I know how it works. Oop. Yeah.
And you make fun of my typing. Shroomin?
Shrooms.
Ah, that's cute.
We got the shrooms.
That's fun. Okay,
Yep.
why not?
We've got the shrooms. We've got a little baggie of shrooms. We got to be careful that Officer Jenny does not pull us over.
Remember, kids. A, don't do drugs. B, if you're gonna do shrooms, have a buddy who can walk you through it.
I mean, we've literally never done anything.
I know, but I've always been
this.
warned. If you're gonna do shrooms, have a buddy.
But you want to deposit Woobat? And...
Yeah, let's pull shrooms out.
Okay. Okay, Woobat, back in you go. And now, shrooms. By the way, I forget exactly how it works, but like an annoying thing can happen where like you end up with a full box and that means you can't catch any more Pokemon.
How many fit in the box?
I think like 20.
But then how do you catch them all?
Well, then you move your box.
Okay.
But it's basically just menu work. Okay.
That seems counterintuitive to the main goal of catching them all.
I mean, it's basically just busy work. But okay, let's check out shrooms.
Good attack, good defense.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's a pocket monster. We've got some shrooms in our pocket. We really do have to get.
What's pocket sand from? Is that from Gravity Falls or?
That sounds accurate.
No, I'm gonna try to Google it. Oh,
but,
sorry.
Okay. One moment. Ellie has knocked the headphone out of my ear while doing that. Okay.
Oh, it's from King of the Hill.
Oh, okay.
That is very not Gravity Falls.
Yep. Okay. So, who do we want to level up first?
Maybe Best Girl.
You want to level up Best Girl?
Yeah, I think Best Girl. And then
Okay.
we'll have someone we can switch train with.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, there's something we should probably... Oh, Spearow. Okay, that was our other option for catching
I prefer
him.
Sandshrew.
I like Sandshrew quite a lot.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Scratch.
Scratch? Yeah. So, Nidorina, I've looked at her moves. Basically, there's no real reason for us to not immediately use a Moonstone on Best Girl and turn her into a Nidoqueen.
Oh, it turns into a Nidoqueen with the Moonstone?
Yep.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And
we have one of
here
those.
we go. Oh, Best Girl. She's Best Girl.
She is Best Girl. She looks fabulous.
Yes, she does. But here's the one reason why we might not want to do that. If we turn Best Girl into a Nidoqueen, her stats will go up, like, quite a lot, but she'll be part ground type. And we are going into a water gym. That being said, Misty's ace is, I believe, Starmie, which is part psychic, which is strong against poison anyway. And we might have the chance to catch a grass-type Pokemon before we go into the gym. Do we want Best Girl to be a Nidoqueen now? Or
Let's wait.
You want to wait?
I think we should wait.
Until after...
Misty's gym, yes.
Okay. Okay. Do we want Best Girl to level up more?
Let's put the boobs in front.
You wanna get the boobs some growth?
Let's get the boobs in front.
Okay. So, now that the training has begun, where are we at with the coronavirus?
Oh god. Well, I'm not doing as well as I could be. How about you?
Yeah, neither am I.
The reality is starting to set in a little bit.
It's really beginning to weigh on us.
I woke up at 4 a.m. paranoid we wouldn't have enough food, so I had to do stock in the dark of our freezer. And then I made a color-coded Excel graph of how to ration our food.
And I keep making the mistake of reading social media at night.
And then being like, Allie, did you know this is gonna kill us all? And then I'm like,
no,
good night, honey.
No, because you're asleep. But I'm reading, first-hand accounts of what it's like. And honestly, that makes it impossible to go to sleep. That makes it super difficult.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. I think...
Because we're in the middle of a global catastrophe?
I think I'm more scared than I think I am, huh?
Okay, well, I'm glad it's not just me, because, I have had, at least 3 full-on existential crises in the last week.
Yeah, no, I know that you've been real worried. But as we've been worried, our Senate has been up to...
Shenanigans.
Something. They've been doing something. As we record, the Democrats just blocked the passage of a Republican coronavirus bill in the Senate.
Because here's what the bill did. It gave a lot of money to corporations with no strings.
So the strings would be, hey, if you get government money, you've gotta, keep people employed with it.
But there's no way to enforce it with this bill, right?
Yeah, this bill...
It's golly gee, sure, it'd be real great, mister, if you use this money to keep people employed without any, repercussions if they just use it for stuff. American Airlines use their bailout money.
Well, their tax
Their tax
because
cuts.
Corporations had a big tax cut within the past couple of years, and a bunch of corporations, like airlines, spent billions on stock buybacks.
Which is stupid.
But it's not... Here's the thing. There's a difference between being stupid and being... Greedy and cynical. Because there's been in the American corporate landscape since the 1980s a growing trend to prioritize short-term profits for shareholders above anything else. And if they think that they can do stock buybacks
and get a momentary bump in income,
and they also believe that if anything were to happen to the economy, that they'd get a bailout, they've got no, self-interested reason to keep that money on hand. It creates a moral hazard. They know that they can just get bailed out. But so I paid real close attention to the 2008 financial crisis and the Troubled Assets Relief Program when it was happening. I have forgotten so goddamn much.
Well, it has been 12 years since the economic crash in 2008. Yeah.
Yep.
The recession is now in 6th grade.
Yeah. Hey, critical hit.
Yay!
But yeah, one of the big problems there was we bailed out banks without any requirement, hey, keep people in their homes.
Because we thought it was obvious.
Well, it's not even that we thought it was obvious, it's that the people running the economy focused too much on the top. I'm a bit worried about this.
You want to switch in Best Girl?
Yeah, let's switch in Best Girl.
Okay.
Oh, let's check out her new sprite.
Yes.
Oh,
she is Best Girl.
Yes, she is Best Girl. Okay, Scratch? Okay. You really can tell, the number of moves they had in Generation 1. Yeah. Just so much less than what we've got now.
Oh yeah, no. Now it's ridiculous how many moves there are in Pokemon.
I mean, I like it, but...
I know, but...
We have very limited options for our move pools right now. But yeah, Democrats just blocked the Republican bill in the Senate. There are a few reasons why that's possible. One is that the Senate has the fucking archaic filibuster thing going on, where it's all that's needed to derail any legislation that has less than 60 votes supporting it.
Is a filibuster?
Is a threat of filibuster.
Oh, God.
You don't even have to stand up and actually do the filibustering.
That's
just
like
gotta
the wait till
say,
your father gets home.
Oh, it's pitiful. Our Senate needs an overhaul. But the other reason is Senator Rand Paul has now tested positive for coronavirus.
After blocking the bill, initially.
After blocking an earlier version of the bill. And he apparently, used the Senate pool that morning.
Oh.
Worked out.
Wait, the Senate has a pool?
Yeah, the Senate has a pool.
Oh, no.
Worked out with other senators in the Senate gym.
Oh, no.
And had an intimate lunch with other GOP Congress people.
Define intimate. Like sharing a dessert or having one spaghetti strand between the two of them?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Rand Paul and Ted Cruz are there in a back alley.
Ted Cruz is back in quarantine because he got out of quarantine.
Oh, the boobs learned Hyperfang!
Oh, that's useful.
Oh!
But
the boobs is gonna be so good!
So this is Ted Cruz is an idiot, and here's why. So he was in quarantine after being exposed to coronavirus, got out, shook a diplomat's hand, and that diplomat had been exposed to coronavirus, and now Ted Cruz is back in quarantine.
Oh my god. But, so here's the thing. Because Rand Paul... So Ted Cruz is in quarantine, and because Rand Paul got so close with other, particularly GOP senators like Mitt Romney, a bunch of them are quarantining.
But Mitt Romney's the only sensible one right now.
Yeah, I know. Well,
which I never thought I'd say about Mitt Romney.
Well, did you hear Trump's reaction to Mitt Romney having to quarantine himself?
It was...
Oh, that's too bad.
It's so bitchy.
Oh my god, dude.
Cute. People are dying, man.
Like, whatever you think of his politics aside, that's just a dick thing to do when it's a guy who's... Oh, Hyperfang is so good. When it's a guy who's in an old age risk group. He has the potential to get life-threateningly ill. Don't be sarcastic about that. I don't think that's controversial to say.
Well, also, there was that press conference Trump did where the reporter, I forgot from which paper, like, threw him the most softball question.
Yeah, asked, like, hey, what would you say to all the scared Americans right now? Like, giving him a chance to act presidential.
Yeah, and then, oh no, you're a nasty reporter, and you're being very... I'm like, dude, it's the easiest question to ask.
Yeah, that was...
Although,
well, part of it is because Trump's whole thing is he wants people to constantly be optimistic.
Which, you know, global pandemic, it's kind of hard.
I mean, I'm sort of fundamentally against optimism. Just, I think optimism too often is driven by motivated reasoning. But, so yeah, senators like Mitt Romney are now in quarantine, and Mitch McConnell, running the Senate, adamantly opposes any measure that would allow senators to vote remotely in a time of crisis.
Which is stupid, because we have, like, can you just imagine, like, an entire 51-member Senate Zoom meeting?
Oh my god, that would be so annoying.
That was so hilarious to watch and trying to figure it out.
Oh no, none of them would know how it works because they're all old.
They'd have to call an AOC from the House of Representatives to, like, second... The
you know what? Bernie Sanders would actually know how to work
Bernie Sanders has been doing work.
Bernie Sanders has been, like, streaming everything, and meanwhile, Joe Biden only, like, today...
put out, like, a very vague, we're gonna get through this as a nation.
Well, he only today figured out how to, like, do video from his house.
Doesn't he have an iPhone?
Yeah, but I guess he thinks just using the iPhone would be beneath him. But since we keep getting so distracted from this, but because senators are in quarantine and Mitch McConnell won't allow them to vote remotely, and most of the senators in quarantine, I think all of them, but I could be wrong, are GOP, all of a sudden, the GOP advantage in the Senate is almost non-existent.
Are they still going to have the vote?
What was that?
But I'm surprised McConnell is still letting people vote with the quarantine happening.
Well, they're letting people vote, but he's not letting people vote remotely, which I don't
Which makes no sense, McConnell, because his whole thing is trying to keep the Republican power.
Yeah.
Like, if all of your, like, Republican MVPs are off the bench...
Exactly. This seems like it patently shoots him in the foot. I don't get why Mitch McConnell is doing this. But, I mean,
do it, McConnell.
Yeah. But
I'm not going to say you shouldn't, but I'm saying it's sort of counterintuitive to your entire goal as Senate Majority Leader.
Yeah. But so...
It's very hard to talk about coronavirus without talking about politics.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a lot about politics on this Nuzlocke.
Yep. We're going to... Because we do intend this to be a log of what's going on, and politics are, for better for worse, probably for worse, a large part of that.
Well, it's like, I feel like the federal government's doing nothing. The state governments are doing okay. Like, Cuomo,
well, I mean,
bless his heart,
is
trying.
Cuomo has been stepping up as a leader.
Yes, I don't like Cuomo in general. Like, as a politician, I think he's sort of a corrupt motherfucker. But I will acknowledge, Yuga stepped up.
Yeah.
He's really stepped up for the people of New York.
It's, the crises, I think, are usually actually easier to lead people through
than times of prosperity?
Well, than we think, because yes, it's trying, yes, it's challenging, but what you've got to do is get up there, be reassuring, take charge, and listen to experts. That's the big thing. So, like, we think Rudy Giuliani is a weird motherfucker, but he was able to lead New York after 9/11, and
no one else was mayor that day.
Yes, but he did it by all accounts well.
Which surprises me because it's Giuliani.
Which makes me think that, I don't know, maybe I'm being glib, but I think Maybe politicians just all study crises heavily so that they have an idea of how they want to act in a crisis.
Yeah.
But when things are, like, normal, there's less guidance.
Well,
I don't know.
And they're trying to... Well, like, Giuliani and Bloomberg, like, in that bridge of those two being mayor of New York, they did a lot of harm to the city. So the fact that, you know, Giuliani, you know, barely steered us through 9/11. I mean, I didn't live in New York during 9/11, so I don't necessarily know. I was also maybe 9 years old.
We're relying on secondhand information for this.
I was also 9 years old. So, you know, that's one thing. But just day to day, he kicked people out, the police riots, then Bloomberg and stop and frisk, and he's like, we made the streets safer, and I'm like, for who, motherfucker? For who? Anyway.
But so that Senate bill, apparently Mitch McConnell crafted it with only Republican input. Which if
does not
you
surprise me because he's an asshole, but
well, it doesn't.
Because like McConnell's entire programming, his entire sense of being and identity relies on, I don't want the Democrats to get anything done, regardless of what it is. We're not doing it.
I mean, I think he's primarily motivated by greed, but
like his whole thing with the Obama administration, it's like nothing.
Yeah,
that he wants to do, regardless of how good it is for the country.
Well, so that's a fundamental flaw with our system of government right now. We've become too focused on campaigning, not focused enough on governing, and the party out of power has a lot of ability to just be intransigent, and if nothing gets done, it makes the party in power look bad, which means the party out of power
gets elected next time, and it's a cycle.
Yeah, so there's way too much incentive for the minority party to be intransigent. And that does include Democrats. There is incentive for Democrats in the minority in the Senate to be intransigent right now. Hey, level 16.
Yay!
The boobs is doing work.
Yes. No, it's like, well, our entire democracy is in this, like, laundry cycle of 8 years on, 8 years off. And through various political science logistics of, you know, the one party A is in power, party B spends 8 years, you know, getting everyone pumped up. And then party A will nominate like a softball candidate to keep the peace, and then party B will nominate a radical candidate to shake things up, and then the radical candidate wins. And then we flip. And it's just been going like that for decades.
For about 20 years now, yeah. Okay, so we've got 2 level 16 Pokemon. I think that's pretty good for, like, a goal before the next part of what we do. Who else? How about Shrooms?
Yeah, let's level up Shrooms a little bit.
You wanna? Yeah, let's get Shrooms up there a bit. Let's see what,
Shrooms can do.
Let's pop some Shrooms and see what they do.
David, we're not in Viridian Forest anymore. We can't pop any Shrooms.
Are you just going to sigh at every joke I make? Is that all this is gonna be?
I'm in a very interesting mental health headspace.
Yeah, actually, that's something we should probably talk about. We've been focusing a lot on government thus far, but this is really beginning to weigh on us. Ellie, you've, you know, I don't want to call you out or anything, but I think you'd agree with me if I said you spent the last couple days freaking out.
Oh no, that's totally valid to say because I was. This shutdown, or not a shutdown, this quarantine is, it's bringing up a lot of anxieties that I have spent literal years trying to deal with.
Any particular, because this to me feels like such a hyper-specific situation that I don't think I've ever seen something exactly like it in my lifetime.
I was actually talking to my therapist about this.
Yeah?
Because, so okay, gather around, children, I will tell you the history of my mental health. I, for many, many years, had this incredible paranoia about the worst case scenario always happening. And so for years, decades of my life, I was like clenched, on guard, prepared for anything to go wrong at any minute. I kept like a Swiss Army knife and, parachute cord in my bag. I was like hoarding money. I was like so...
No, you weren't.
Well, I mean, I had no money to hoard, but I was trying to. But no, like, I was just like ready for the shit to hit the fan at any minute. And that is how I lived my life for literally 10 years. I finally, through treatment, was able to like let go of some of that. But now everything's being validated because we're in the middle of a global fucking pandemic. So like, I'm panic shopping. I'm doing, Excel spreadsheets to ration our food. I'm making sure we have enough medication. I'm like bleaching everything. Like, it's not healthy for my brain after this. It's not. Like right now, sure, like I'm staying in prepared mode, but like it's not good because after this, all of those deep-seated anxieties and fears have now been completely validated. So I don't know what's gonna happen after this. It's gonna be real interesting.
Should we maybe say exactly what it was that set off your fear of the worst case scenario?
I don't want to go there too hard, but I had a lot of unfortunate events happen to me.
Allie had a family member pass away from...
I don't want to really go here. Pass away, and it triggered a lot of just domino effect of stuff happening, and as a result, I learned to sort of like keep myself prepared.
To anticipate the worst.
To anticipate the worst. I walked around whenever I was happy, I'd be like, I'm not going to be happy for long, because every time I'm happy, something bad's going to happen in like a month. And that is how I lived my life for decades, and it was really unhealthy.
Does me saying things like, I think optimism is motivated thinking... How's that work for you?
I think I need optimism. I think I need cautious optimism. You know this old Soviet saying, trust but verify?
Yeah.
That's sort of where I'm at. It's like, I have to believe things will get better, because if I don't, you're gonna have to deal with like catatonia, Allie under the covers, crying. I need to know that there's something I can do to at least make our immediate surroundings better.
So for me, I don't have anything as heavy as Allie does.
But you were with me during all of that, so you got a front ringside seat to the mental breakdown of the decade. And
I'd like to think I have done a somewhat adequate job of guiding you through it.
When people ask, like, how do you know David was the one? I'm like, well, we've had basically 50 years of marriage hardship and a 12-year relationship. So, like, at this point, nothing that you throw at us is gonna... And then they threw a pandemic at us.
But, I mean, for what it's worth, not to say that, we've never bickered or whatever, but we're still getting along pretty great.
In quarantine?
In quarantine so far.
I mean, we've had the occasional spat.
Yeah.
But nothing that's... It's not like how, in China, divorce rates are skyrocketing, right?
Yep. So, here's my thing, okay? And this I can be pretty specific about, because it's kind of stupid. But, okay. When I was in 3rd grade, I went to the nurse's office one day because I had a stomachache. And they took my temperature with one of those little, disposable paper plastic thermometers. But they thought I was faking. So when I had a slight temperature, they decided not to trust it, and they put a glass mercury thermometer in my mouth, which I never had before. And I accidentally, wedged it between my teeth and broke it in my mouth. So that led to the school nurse, rushing me over to the sink to spit everything out, rinse out my mouth, all that stuff, get the glass out. The thing is, they didn't know that little 3rd grade me was aware that mercury was toxic. And so that meant no one could tell me.
In fact, it's a different mercury in the thermometers than real.
No, I mean, you'd still have to be worried about it, but there's not enough mercury in the thermometer to actually cause worry. So little third grade me was stuck lying in bed in my school's nurse's office, thinking I'm going to die, and for the first time being conscious of the fact that the world will go on without me if I die.
You were 8?
Yeah, something like that.
That explains a lot.
Because I heard other people like still joking and laughing outside, you know? Mm-hmm. And I was angry at them.
David's first existential crisis.
Yep. But so that for a couple years I was a little hypochondriac as a kid. Which led to another stupid paranoia. Because in 4th grade, my school took a field trip to a science museum, and they had an exhibit on how diseases worked. And one of these things they explained was AIDS. How AIDS...
for me, it was Ebola. When I had Ebola explained to me,
Ebola's terrifying
anything.
Too. But AIDS, I was old enough to understand, this breaks down your immune system, leaves you with no defense, and there's no cure. That's terrifying. What I didn't know was
how it spread.
How impossible it would be for me to get. So little 4th grade David needed reassurance like nightly from his parents that he didn't have AIDS.
Oh, your parents.
And they tried, there's no way you could have gotten it. And I'm like, you don't know that. There's probably a way. And I'm sure in their head they were like, David, you're not going out and banging hookers. You're not using other people's needles. You're fine.
David, it's not 1984. And it's not Manhattan. And you're not sharing needles. You're fine. Oh my god.
So, this quarantine...
To be fair, you could have gotten through a bad blood transfusion, but they screen that stuff a lot more.
Yeah. But I'm not saying that, like, I'm flipping out or anything.
But it's hitting some of those same parts in your brain.
Yeah. Which means that, like, during the day, when we're doing stuff, when we're doing Nuzlocke, when we're recording, when, we're playing other games or doing work, I'm fine. It's just, if it's late at night and you're asleep,
and you're reading stuff on the internet. Was this like when you were reading all about the things in the atmosphere, like in space, that could kill us?
Oh yeah,
like
that
black
was
holes.
a mistake.
Yeah, then you wake me up like, Allie, we're gonna die. I'm like, honey, it's fine.
No, I did not do that.
I'm kidding.
I dispute that account.
I'm going to say David did not do that. I'm just giving him shit. It's okay.
No, but I would then, like, not get up the next morning and have to explain to you, nope, couldn't get asleep because I learned that, the black holes can have runoff that can...
So our actual system for this is, if one of us can't sleep for some reason, we text the other person. So that when they wake up and they check their phone, they'll see, hi, don't wake me up, I was up till 4 a.m.
Yep.
God. Well, also...
So that's where we're at mentally.
Also,
which, great place to be.
Oh yeah, also, a couple of years ago I had this, really long stretch of, like, severe agoraphobia where I would not leave the apartment, and every time I left the apartment, I would be, like, sweating, crying, and twitching that something was wrong.
You are exaggerating how bad you were.
It got really bad, man. Remember when we were on the bus, and I thought I left the stove on, and I burst into tears?
Yes, but that wasn't agoraphobia.
I had a professional say it was agoraphobia.
Okay. Well, who are you going to believe? A professional or me who has
you mansplaining agoraphobia to your
passing acquaintance of a dictionary definition?
But yeah, so like with this quarantine, I just have this very deep-seated inside good, outside bad.
Well, and the weird part about that for me is, like, a few days ago when we did our one shopping trip, you desperately wanted to get outside. You really, really wanted to be out of the
Because
apartment.
it was 70 degrees and sunny and the flowers were blooming and I wanted to just like get some air. But then we went outside and I saw our neighborhood just packed with people. Not taking precautions.
Seriously.
Yeah. So
And-
it's like, so we go from our apartment to the front door, through the complex, to the sidewalk, and then about 2 blocks to your car. In between then and there, A and B, I was like holding my breath.
Yeah.
Because I did not want to get sick. And then while we were out, like we were waiting in line at AC Moore because they were having a clearance sale and I wanted to buy all of the yarn because I'm going to be stuck inside, might as well knit something. And I'm standing in line with all these people who aren't really being that careful. And I'm like, if I'm waiting in this line for longer than 15 minutes, I'm going to snap.
I mean, at the time, you held it together pretty well.
I did, because I was in public.
Well, so unfortunately, I did not realize how bad an idea it was taking you outside until...
Well, because I was begging you to go outside, and I'm an adult, so, like, typically you'd think Allie knows what she's doing.
Well, so this did alert, since we hadn't been outside in so long, you know, we've got a lot of people who live in our building. So... I hadn't really thought too much about that. I assumed that they were being cautious.
I think people on our floor are being cautious.
On our floor, sure, but
Not the building.
we don't really know that.
Yeah.
But so, going outside made me aware, other people in our building might be really blasé about this too. And that means every time we use the elevator or a banister to go downstairs and check the mail, every time we go to the trash room and open the door, we still don't have potions. We're putting ourselves at more risk than I would like to think we are.
And that was a wake-up call, and then we did...
That was a wake-up call for both of us.
Then we did a huge shop. We came back. I basically determined in my 4 a.m. Excel chart madness that we have enough food and supplies to last us, like, 6 weeks comfortably, 7 weeks if we stretch, 8 weeks if we get really fucking desperate, we can eat a jar of peanut butter, but...
So actually, I was honestly pretty touched because we just got a comment from someone, I believe Y-Friend, but I could have that wrong, who said, you know, hey, you know, taking Allie to New Jersey, you know, maybe that's not a good idea. And, you know, now that I see someone say it, I'm like, yeah, no.
Here's the thing, though.
But we did not know how stupid this... But it wasn't stupid.
It wasn't stupid.
We were very careful.
We were very careful. We were washing our hands every 5 seconds.
We
wiped down everything. I wore a mask.
We went to a place, and for the record, Allie made the mask. We're not, like...
We're not hoarding masks. I'm making my own masks.
But,
Don't hoard masks, people.
And, you know, we went to an area that has had very few
I think 10 cases in the entire county.
Yeah. So, I mean, we handled it really, really carefully. But, yeah, maybe I really shouldn't have listened to you saying you want to go outside. Maybe
See, David is 90% of my impulse control. Like...
Oh, that's bad.
I know.
That is dangerous.
So, I'm saying it's going to be a real interesting couple of weeks.
You do realize how much I have spent on, like, trading cards on impulse,
But not like that impulse
right?
control. More like, I want to go outside in the middle of a pandemic impulse control.
But so...
Or, I want to eat this entire box of Malamars in one sitting impulse control.
But we really assumed that more people around us were taking it seriously. And we were kind of distraught to see how many people weren't.
And then, you know, 2 days later...
That's when the
cases, like, the lockdown
order
order came in. The cases in New York tripled. Our hospitals have like a week before they run out of supplies.
Yeah. We haven't looked up for the counter what numbers we're at now, but I mean, since we've been recording, the numbers in New York City
they went
have
from like 2,000 to 10,000 in like a week.
Yeah. In like 5 or 6 days of recording. This
is not good.
We are on track to be the hottest hotspot in the world. And, oh man, we are officially wondering if we should find a way to get out of New York City now.
We've been having very long conversations about this because I don't want to leave for many reasons.
We're not sure. We have like really cheap, not great health insurance.
Yeah, no, that just. Oh, I actually talked to my health insurance this morning.
Oh yeah. Oh.
They're like, oh, well, we'll cover testing out of state, but only if you really need urgent hospital care, we'll cover part of it.
Oh my god.
So they get to determine whether or not it's urgent care or not.
So
that's like money we don't have.
Yeah. So, you know, if we go too far away,
like if
you get sick,
like if we went to go stay with your parents, for example.
Yeah.
And I get sick, I'm pretty fucked.
But on the other hand, you know, New York hospitals are already reaching the fucking breaking point. You know, we don't have the money, but we might want to reach the point where it's just better to assume we will find a way to do the finances later. We will beg people to be merciful if we have to, so that we don't have to deal with an
commit
overcrowded
insurance fraud.
Yeah, so that we don't have to deal with an overcrowded hospital.
Well, I think if that happens, we can maybe just like drive out of state, close by, relatively close by out of state.
Well, so in that case, that basically negates the benefit of staying in New York, to my mind.
But at the same time, like, staying in New York is one thing. Staying in our hermetically sealed apartment with 7 weeks worth of supplies, where we don't have to leave, is also not nothing. Well,
maybe now that the law has gone out that, you know, you can't leave the apartment for anything non-essential, hopefully that'll give whatever coronavirus has been spreading on flat surfaces time to die. My big concern is if they lock down the city. If they tell us we're not allowed to leave the city...
I don't think they're going to do that, and here's why.
Okay.
Because northern New Jersey is basically like another borough.
Okay.
There's a lot of people who go back and forth from New Jersey to New York. Long Island, also, for example, is part of New York. We need too many outside resources at this point to lock down the city. To, like, put guards up and say, you're not allowed to leave the city limits.
I mean, the National Guard has been activated already. Like, this is a thing that might happen. And...
So, yeah, this is why neither of us slept last night.
And also, neither of us are, at the moment, getting enough work done because we're choosing to do things like this that help keep our spirits up and help our mental health overall.
Well, also, in the chaos, the clients I'm working for are having trouble getting back to me with stuff I need to do work, so there's just been a lot of sitting and twiddling my thumbs while I wait for assignments to come through. And in that time, I've just been, like, cooking a lot, and doing bathtub laundry, and knitting, and watching TV, and trying not to have an emotional breakdown.
Yeah.
And exercising.
This has gotten real, and this has gotten real fast. You want to get, like, 5 potions?
Sure.
Okay.
I do think that if we just, like, stay in the apartment, and if we just, like, make sure we wash our hands really well and Clorox everything, when we take out trash, we're gonna be okay. That is my fundamental belief as someone who's talked to friends who are nurses and watched all the PSAs.
Yeah. Now, so the thing about catching coronavirus, part of me isn't that scared of actually getting it. I'm just scared of, like, getting one of the serious cases. And more there's data showing that, people in our age group should be more worried than we were initially led to believe.
Yeah, like, my fear isn't necessarily getting sick. It's getting sick and then not having access to the treatment I need.
Mm-hmm.
And then getting really sick.
But, I mean, it just sounds like a really not fun disease.
No. I mean, like, no disease is fun.
And so, okay, so I'm about to admit something I'm a little ashamed of.
You think a disease is fun?
No. That last night, the thing that kept me up was I read a first-hand account of what it's like to have it, and I, somewhere in my own head, said, shit, that sounds like how I've been feeling. He mentioned, he had some, light coughing, a little bit of sore throat in the mornings, some nasal drip, and I'm like, well, shit.
I mean, but that describes 90% of sicknesses.
I know. I am aware of the logic here.
I mean, that's like going on WebMD, Googling you have head pain, and then one person says you have migraine, and the other person says you have brain cancer. Like, it's...
I know. Do you think that logic has much to do with this right now?
Yeah.
But, so, yeah, I'm a little paranoid, and I'm definitely watching the both of us like a fucking hawk.
No, me too. Like, I'm getting ready to, like, start taking your temperature every day, and maybe just start taking Tylenol preemptively. Like, I've got my inhaler right next to my bed.
Let's not waste the Tylenol preemptively.
Yeah. Well, like, I've also got my inhaler, like, right here. Worst case scenario.
Gotcha. But, yeah, that's a snapshot of where we are at.
And we're the lucky ones.
Yeah.
That's the sad part.
Oh, I mean, we had the chance to lock down early. I think that we've been doing, 99% of the things right. If something happens with us, I think we'll have to chalk it up to, like, incredibly bad luck.
Yeah, which can happen.
Yep.
And
thanks. Mm-hmm.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Neither of us are optimists.
No, which is bad.
But we're hanging in there. We like doing this. We like making these. This has been a lot of fun for us so far.
Yeah, no, this has been keeping me pretty sane through this. Just
so,
having a place to talk about it, I think, really helps.
And, I think it's kind of interesting to have this log of how we're feeling in the midst of this crisis as it happens right now. We'll be able to go back and look at this, and it won't be like, oh, I knew this all along. We'll have evidence of whether we were right or wrong and how our instincts were. And I think that's kind of interesting. And I hope...
Well, that's one way to look at it.
I hope you guys think that this is interesting.
And if you guys are, like, stuck in quarantine, like, hit us up. We've got a Discord, leave a comment. We're happy to talk about this existential crisis we're all having.
Yep. But I think we have vented
enough.
Long enough. We're not quite at the levels I want us to be at. I think I'll get shrooms and a little bug up to level 16, and then we'll be ready to move on with the plot next time on Couples Counseling plays Pokemon Blue Nuzlocke Corona Quarantine Edition.
Bye guys, stay safe.
Yep, stay well.